from the US. But with that, let's also talk about all of the cues that you should track as we get into this fresh trading session and this new week. We have our research team here with the trade setup. Mangalam, Rima, as well as Surbhi join me now to take you through everything that you should watch. Guys, a very good morning to all of you. Rima, let me come to you first. We were just going through the global setup, but today could be a lot about the domestic cues, right? With ICICI Bank and Reliance going.
Pavitra, I think this is going to be day one of an extremely busy week in terms of cues, macros, as well as domestic and international in terms of earnings. But the SGX Nifty, as you pointed out earlier, is suggesting a flat start, but with a positive bias. So currently holding up in the green. Asia is a bit mixed, but more on the negative side. No big direction emerging from Wall Street. Wall Street ended absolutely flat. In terms of the two big drivers in today's trade, one is likely to be ICICI Bank, a very impressive set of Q4 numbers. NII growth 40%, PAT jump of 30%. The return ratios have improved. The net interest margin is at record high levels of 4.9%. Reliance Industries too has clocked in a beat on expectations. So the net profits have gone up 22% on a quarter-on-quarter basis, aided by a strong performance in the oil to chemicals business. So that was the big driver. And these two stocks command a high weightage on the Nifty, and we could see some, could see us propel the markets higher. That said, there were many other stocks reacting to earnings, and we will talk more about that. But this week, we've got numbers from banking heavyweights like IndusInd Bank, Axis Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank, also other financial names like Bajaj Finance, Bajaj Finserv, HDFC Asset Management. In the consumer basket, you've got HUL, Nestle, Tata Consumer. In the auto basket, Maruti Suzuki will be reporting numbers along with that Bajaj Auto. IT stocks not to be left behind. Tech Mahindra, Wipro will be reporting numbers. Ultratech Cement. You've got action in the primary markets tomorrow. Mankind Pharma, a very large IPO, will be opening up for its subscription. Last week, it was very lackluster on the benchmark indices. The Nifty traded in a very tight band of about 300 points. Mid-caps fared a tad bit better. In terms of institutional activity, on Friday, the FIIs sold 2,100 crore in cash. The DIIs net bought 1,632 crore. And remember, this week is also the expiry. So coupled with the big cues, the news events, and the expiry, we could expect an action-packed week. Back to you.
All right. And remember, all of last week, we were talking about how it's feeling a little bit dull and there's not too much happening. So this week seems like, we're set up for quite the opposite. Rima, thanks a lot for that. But let's also talk about the individual names that we should track in today's trading session. We have Surbhi here with the entire list. Surbhi, lots of big earnings.
Good morning. Quite a few result reactions over the weekend. The first one is, of course, Reliance. Very strong numbers in Q4, a beat on all fronts. Highest ever quarterly profits reported by them, led by strong O2C business. The consolidated profits were up 22% sequentially, and the EBITDA margin came in at 18% versus 16%. Next is ICICI Bank, where the net interest margin is at an all-time high of 5%. The operating profit growth is an 18-quarter high at up 34% on a year-on-year basis and 4% sequentially. Yes Bank, the Q4 numbers were a mixed bag. The asset quality deteriorated, while the net interest margin is the best in 9 quarters versus an expectation of a decline over there. Macrotech developers, the revenue was down 6%, the EBITDA was down nearly 15%, but the net profit was up 39%. Some other companies that may react to their numbers, Tejas Networks and MapMyIndia, so watch out for that as well. Some other companies that may be in focus, Sun Pharma, the company gets a non-compliance letter from US FDA for its Mohali facility. And lastly, HDFC Bank, where RBI allows HDFC Bank to hike stake in HDFC Life and Ergo to more than 50%.
All right, Surbhi, thanks a lot for that entire list of names. We're going to watch for all of these in today's session. Finally, let me hand it over to Mangalam, who's looking at all of the cues from the futures and options space. Hi, Mangalam.
Good morning. So if you just take a look at the data of the last 3 trading sessions, the close on the Nifty was just about 5 points away from each other. April 19th around 17,619, April 21st virtually unchanged at 17,624. Similar was the case with the highs and the lows on the Nifty. If you just take a look at the highs on the Nifty, there was some supply as soon as the Nifty crossed that 17,660 odd mark. So the highs were contained around that 17,660 to 17,680. And the lows, however, the Nifty found a support around that 17,550 to 17,580 odd mark as well. But now the SGX Nifty is indicating a positive start, and today this range could perhaps break out on account of 2 factors. One, both Reliance and ICICI Bank will react to earnings. Reliance has over 10% weight on the index, and ICICI Bank has around 8%, so 18% of the index reacting favorably to numbers. And secondly, it is also the April series expiry week that begins, so we'll keep an eye out on how that pans out. Ahead of that, the FIIs on Friday sold about 2,000 crores in cash. The DIIs bought around 1,600 odd crores. But FIIs in index futures, they continue to buy, and their longs inched slightly higher to 39%, with shorts at around 61%. But ahead of expiry, we are seeing FIIs buy more calls and at the same time sell more calls as well. So they are hoping for a bit of an upside, but that upside should be capped at higher levels is what they're playing for. 17,700 call saw a fair bit of writing at a premium of 54 rupees, telling you once again levels upwards of 17,750 may face some resistance. However, if it crosses past that 17,800 mark, there have been a lot of people who've bought 17,900 call as well. 17,600 put, however, on the lower level has seen a fair amount of writing, telling you there is support at the 200-day moving average of the Nifty, which is 17,605. And on the way up, the 100-day moving average may be a bit of a resistance. So that's the band that we're looking at.
All right, Mangalam, we're going to track all of this. Thanks a lot for taking us through all of those cues from the futures and options space as well. But with that, it is time for our first short break on the show. When we come back, like we told you, Reliance Industries and ICICI Bank both reported their fourth quarter numbers, and it was a good set from both of them. So we'll get you the fine print on the other side.